Everybody, welcome back. Droid Life Show, episode 14. I'm your host, Kellen. Got the whole Droid Life team with us as well. We've got Ron, Tim, and Eric. Everybody say hi real quick.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Hola.
So, how's everybody doing after our epically long hour-and-a-half episode from last week? We still have plenty to talk about.
I'm still tired.
Yeah, me too.
I stayed up late that night.
It was past your 8 o'clock bedtime.
That's right.
Yeah, it was. Anyways, we got a big show tonight. As always, I think we say that, but we have a lot going on. Even after last week, there's still, we've got this Google Messenger, sort of all-in-one Messenger rumor floating around out there. Galaxy S4 rumored launch dates and sort of scheduled rollouts. We've got this Chrome Pixel Chromebook to talk about a little bit, and maybe discuss why Chromebooks in general aren't all that awesome to some people. We'll talk about MWC and the lack of attendees, I guess we should say. How about the Thunderbolt receiving ICS? How often we all upgrade phones? We'll show off. I'll talk about Pebble a little bit. Talk about Pebble. Apps and games as usual. We'll let Ron talk about Android design. And we'll wrap things up with, I think Tim wants to talk about the Beatles or something random like that. So let's first start with this Google Messenger talk, though. So I believe it was that yesterday or was that Monday? Anyways, a developer I guess he's just a Chrome developer. I don't think he works for the Chrome team. He posted up a screenshot of what looked like sort of a notification center for Chrome OS, or possibly just Chrome in general. But there was this little icon also on the screen that looked like some sort of new Messenger icon that we'd never seen before. So we sort of threw out the idea that maybe this is Google's new all-in-one messaging service. And everyone sort of just had a field day with it, threw out ideas, caught a lot of buzz. It was sort of an interesting topic. So today, or I guess late last night, the same developer posted up a test build of this notification center, which is really where that icon came from. Those weren't like separate apps. That app, if you if you click on that multi-chat thing, it opens up this notification center in Chrome. I tried to play with it today. It wasn't really that awesome. It was just a test build, so you couldn't really use it. It just would pop up test notifications. But beyond that being not really what we thought it was, let's talk about this all-in-one messenger. So we've sort of wanted something like this, I think, for a really, really long time. I mean, we have Google Voice, Google Talk. There's Google Messenger in Google+. We have Gmail. We have all these services that could seamlessly talk together, you would think. Yeah, for whatever reason, Google's been holding off on doing that. So does anyone think we're going to see this at maybe I/O, a new unified messenger? Or is it really just a Chrome thing and we're not getting it on Android? I'd love to hear anybody's thoughts on this whole thing. Tim, do you got any thoughts?
Thoughts? Yeah, I think it's kind of a cop-out to where whenever we see something new that comes out for Chrome or Android that we automatically think it's going to be shown off at I/O. I/O's kind of like far away, and I understand like if it's being built into Chrome OS, then it would take time for even that to kind of even come through in like an official Chrome build or Chrome OS build, and then even let alone come to Android. So I know it's got some time. But I would love to see it before that, because I know like a unified messaging service from Google is something that people have been crying about for years now, it seems. And it's something that as someone who works from home, I don't really have too much use for, but I guess it would be kind of nice for everyone else who kind of uses their phone kind of like out in the real world and stuff. But as far as I'm concerned,
not the cave trolls.
Yeah, not the cave trolls, but as far as I'm concerned, I hope it is what it is, and I hope that it's coming, so everyone can just be happy and get over it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Google has neglected Google Talk for I don't know how long now. The last,
Forever.
Yeah, I mean, the last update that got was when I think it had video chat built into it.
Yeah, that was back in 2.3 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was 2.3, and the integration just wasn't all that awesome. And now that we have Google+, they really don't care about Google Talk, so which is unfortunate. I mean, that's what we use as a blog to discuss topics and communicate throughout the day. We use Google Talk, so it would be nice to see it get some love or some sort of new thing. Ron, any thoughts on an all-in-one messenger? If we need it, when we should get it, anything?
I think it'd be really cool. Like I said, Google's got Messenger, little snippets of Messenger platforms all over the place with Plus and Talk being separate, which did not make any sense to me. No. But there's definitely been some hints that they're moving towards, having at least a unified representation of yourself. So, you know, in comments on apps, it shows your Google Plus ID now. So at least there's some sort of a hint that they're kind of moving towards this is your one ID, and they'll probably be tied with Google Plus, which probably nobody will like. But you know, that's at least it's an option to say, hey, this is your ID, this is who you are, and that's how you're going to communicate with other people across the board. That would be, I mean, if they're gonna, I mean, it's not like your Google Plus ID is any less ubiquitous than your Gtalk name probably. So it probably wouldn't be the end of the world.
Yeah, I think all I want is file sharing, so I can send people pictures and files and all that stuff, and then I'd probably be happy with whatever they do. And also, I don't know if you guys have played with Google Plus's Messenger all that much, but it's actually really nice. You can do group chats and set up all kinds of different things. It's actually really cool, but you know, we don't really know anyone that uses it. I'm not. By the way, I'm not bashing on Google Plus people. I'm just saying I don't know anyone that uses Google Plus Messenger. Eric, any thoughts on an all-in-one messenger? It's about time, right?
Yeah. You know, I'm kind of in the same boat when they released Messenger with Google Plus, and I was like, oh, you know, this will take me to Google Talk, and everybody will, you know, be in the same spot, and then it wasn't. And I don't know. I actually recruited back when Google Plus was like first getting started and still like in like beta stage. I recruited like 6 people, and we were using Messenger pretty often. And then everybody was like, "Well, this is really stupid." So that died pretty quickly. What I would like to see is like a threaded Messenger app on Android that the People app went in and read your contact information, and then if you texted somebody your Google Talk, you know, they would be in one area and just kind of threaded on top of each other. And I've just been waiting for Google to do that, but I doubt they ever will.
So
that's just my little hope. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I don't see why they can't do something like that. I think eventually it's just going to become Google Plus Messenger. That'll just be sort of like Google Talk will go away, and it'll just be migrated into Google Plus Messenger because they're going to try to keep pushing everyone to Google Plus, right? Yep. And so that's going to just be the service, and they're going to have to figure out a way to get people off of Google Talk, which could be tough because I think a lot of people still use it, onto the Google Plus Messenger. And then they got to figure out a way to do an inbox thing with Google Voice and Gmail and all that stuff if you want to. Obviously, a lot of people might want to keep that separate, but I think they should give people the option to sort of merge all those together. No, it's interesting. I agree with you, Tim. I/O's a long ways away. It'd be nice to see something way sooner than that. I will say that I played with that Chrome sort of weird build of that app thing today, and it was so beta. Like I said, you couldn't actually use it. You could just click on stuff to see what notifications would look like. It doesn't actually work, so it doesn't. I'm not even sure they're that close on it. Hopefully they are, and this was just some random leaked thing. But yeah. All right, let's talk about Galaxy S4 rumored launch date. So this came out today. I believe it was from Sam Mobile, and Sam Mobile said March, what was it, 15?
15.
There's that horn. I think that scared us all last week too, didn't it?
Yeah.
Anyways, Samsung Galaxy S4 unveiled on March 15th, in stores in Europe in April, not hitting the US until May or June is what the rumor says. There'll be a full accessory lineup just like we always get, yada, 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 yada. Anyone buying it?
I mean, it depends on which render it is that we've seen. If it's that new one, boy, that one looks hot. No home button and all that, but of course that's that's not going to happen. We know, but either way, a guy can dream, right, Eric? Jeez. I'm definitely. I mean, you know, why not get it? That's the question. Is there anything else that's going to compete with the S4? I don't think so, because if the M7 turns out to be a spec bump DNA, then we're screwed when it comes to the... who knows? Well, okay, do you want to tell me when that one's coming out? You got dates?
No.
You got info?
August 17th, I think, is what we decided.
October 17th is what we decided.
October. That's an exclusive rumor, by the way.
Exclusive. So yeah, and don't, you know, people in the chat, don't tell me that the X phone, I mean, and all that. We don't know. We just don't know. I mean, it's exciting, but I mean, in terms, we know the S4 is coming. We don't know. We just don't know about the X phone. It's all speculation, hearsay, and rumor. So
but do you think the S4 is actually coming as early as May, like all these people say? I don't think they've announced or launched a Galaxy phone that early ever. It's always been.
I don't think it's going to be that early.
Yeah, I don't really know if they need to do that. I mean, the Note 2 is still pretty fresh.
The S3 is doing just fine, I think, in terms of sales and all that. I see more S3s these days than I see iPhones almost.
Yeah, it's getting close.
Yeah, so it's neat to see that. But, yeah, in terms of it being released that soon, I just don't know that they even need to push it that quickly.
Yeah, I don't really think
The S3 came out May 29th.
Is that when it was announced?
That's the first released, probably Europe, but
In Europe?
yeah. So that's, I mean, it's not that far off from when the last one came out.
I guess, I mean, it's February already. I mean, I don't know. That's hard to say, man.
I'd just like to point out that this, we're going to have a full lineup of accessories. Let's talk about all the accessories that they promised at launch that never showed. Did we ever get that wireless charging mat thing?
No.
They said that was going to be there on launch day.
Yeah, everyone's just taken to the forums to like hack their phone into a wireless charging galaxy. It's ridiculous. So no, we don't have any of that stuff. I think there's a dock, and that might be it. And you can buy.
Pebble, did that come out?
S Pebble.
Pebble?
Yeah, the Pebble thing. And then there's like neon green flip covers, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
no,
pretty much the flip covers were the only thing.
Yeah, and not that I have this huge problem with the flip cover, but come on, it's not the greatest accessory on the planet. And that's all Samsung wants to talk about.
What you talking about, Kellen?
Well, I mean, I had a meeting with Samsung back when the Note 2 was launching, and they had them all lined up across like this table. We were all these like media people were sitting at, and they were just like, "Look at these new colors. They're all pastel and silly."
Look, it's a cover, but it doesn't come off when you flip it open. It's
Bunch of
the
nerds.
best thing in the world.
The best thing in the world.
Who needs a cover for their phone? That's ridiculous. I don't want a cover.
I used one for a while, but
every time I see a Samsung, I see one of those stupid flip covers on it.
Mm-hmm.
I
I think people are worried about the screen break-in. I think they think that that's going to probably help them.
and it will not at all. Well, you guys actually see those things in the wild? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, constantly.
Yeah, all the time.
Oh.
Yeah,
People they're flipped open all the time.
Yeah, I've definitely seen them on S3s, and I definitely see them on what are the giant Note 2? Is that what people have now?
Yeah.
Ugh, I can't believe they can make a cover that big. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, when I was reviewing the Note 2, I put one of those on there, and it was unmanageable.
It's like a fan.
Huge. Yeah,
Just
I mean, it really is.
displays so much air when you open it.
Yeah, so it doubles, and I think that's important to have. Your phone double as some things. Like the Pre had the mirror, so the ladies could adjust their makeup, or a gentleman can look at his hair. So the the S3's got the you get the fan. You're ready to go. I think we should really, deeply think about what our accessories should double as.
The Southern gentlemen sitting down there with their S3s just
exactly
themselves in the heat.
Exactly.
Yikes. Yeah, so at least that's the rumor anyway. March or April, then May, June. Obviously, the U.S. gets everything later, it seems like, which is sort of unfortunate. I don't know. I take it. We need something to talk about. We have no new phones. We're in like the second week of February, and no one's released a new phone this year.
We're in the twilight zone when it comes to
we are really.
Yeah, to phones. We need stuff. We need something.
Yeah, we need something.
I'm writing about Sony putting out like a duplicate OG Droid here. Like, I need something to talk about.
Yeah, that was actually hilarious, especially when you did the comparison photo. It's pretty.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this Chrome Pixel video that came out earlier. Ron, do you kind of want to go? You sound like you know a little bit more on the background of maybe where this thing came from. Do you want to kind of go over what this Chrome Pixel video thing is?
Yeah, sure. So earlier today, I think it was earlier today, I first saw it on The Verge, but a alleged video leaked out saying that it, showing this new product allegedly coming from Google, a new Chromebook designed explicitly by Google. Didn't go. It starts off zoomed in on a pixel showing the RGB layout, and then kind of zooms out to show a jellyfish, and shows it having like a touch screen that you can on this Chromebook that looks very generic, like most of the it looks pretty. I guess the most similar one would be the original CR48. It just looks very generic and flat. Mm-hmm. So allegedly this is just it's a media mock-up that supposedly an advertisement would go out for that. Didn't list any specs, anything else like that. So like I said, I first saw it on The Verge and didn't say like this is for sure it or anything else like that, but just speculation that was possibly something that's coming out from Google. And then later in the day, let's see if I've got that still. I think it was Computer World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Computer World.
So this is RJ Raphael. He threw up a post, and so a lot of this stuff had come from allegedly the CEO of this company. The company is called Slinky.me. So allegedly the CEO, yeah, if you heard that name, Slinky.me, and already thought maybe this is a BS story, good for you. You've been listening. So allegedly the CEO goes on Google Plus and says, hey, we've been hacked. We apologize for the fact that many of our projects have been shown previously, space, exclamation point. And then he tagged Sergey Brin and
space exclamation point.
Yeah. So basically RJ goes through here and, or JR, sorry, goes through here and lists 5 different reasons to be skeptical about this. And I mean, the biggest thing for me is just the broken English that is present in all the posts. Aside from that the idea that he would tag Sergey to warn him that, hey, our servers have been hacked about and possibly showing off your new product. So it doesn't look like it's real at all. And even if it was like an ad, a legitimate ad, it would probably show some details about the thing instead of just here's a cool 3G mock-up of it.
No, it wouldn't.
So it was basically a really cool concept. Which
yes.
is a concept. I mean, I don't know that anyone thought this thing was real. Although this is sort of a funny note. Everyone was writing that it was like a leaked concept video. But like a concept, how do you leak a concept? That's not real. And anyway, that's a different story altogether. But so this thing had like a touch screen. It was like Retina resolution or something. It looks really fancy. Everyone was pretty excited about it. Yeah, it's totally fake and bogus. I mean, at some point we could see something cool like this from Google, but this thing's definitely not real. Is basically what we figured out, right? This thing's not real whatsoever.
Well, I don't think we had to figure out that it wasn't real. I think we already knew that it wasn't real. But
no chance in hell that this thing will ever be real. At least from this video.
No, I won't. I can't. Sorry, I can't.
Well, that's a good
get on there with you on that one.
Yeah, because I mean, it's possible that they'd come. I mean, I don't think they'd call it like a Nexus because obviously has nothing to do with Android. But it's possible they'd start rolling out their own hardware if they thought that their partners weren't doing a good enough job with it.
Yeah, but did you see the X in the video?
What I'm saying is that whoever did this video, this Slinky Me guy, this guy...
It's shady. It's shady.
Yeah, the video this guy created and the products he's showing off is never, ever going to be real.
He's a hype beast. He's a hype beast.
He is. We should hire that man.
Yeah, you're contracted with Google and you create a concept video or render of a product that could be an ad, and you get hacked and it gets leaked. You don't go to Google Plus to tell the guy that contracted you. You go to them directly internally. So
yeah.
But it sure did look sweet.
It looks good. And somebody in the chat, said they put a lot of work into it if it was fake. And I mean, wait, like just before any product comes out, or even if a product doesn't come out, there's tons of stuff that looks that somebody put lots of work in, tons of renders of different devices and different ideas that go out constantly. So is it well done? Yeah, it's absolutely well done. You look at it, it's very well done. But
I think it sucks that you mentioned like or that they would show that computer render and stuff like a real thing if it was like a real commercial. Like when was the last time you saw a commercial for a phone that had anything to do with the features that like come on the phone or anything like that? It always has to be some other BS with Paul Rudd or LeBron James to sell the product.
I don't know what you're talking about. Every single Droid commercial I've seen only shows what the phone does.
I know, right? And why do you need Samuel L. Jackson to sell an iPhone? Like, what's up with this? Anyways.
Admit that you would love Samuel L. Jackson doing some bits from Pulp Fiction for a Droid commercial.
Oh, if he was yelling at me to buy this phone, I'd probably buy it.
Inside the golden suitcase, whole time, golden Droid.
Golden Droid. Oh, that'd be sick. So either way,
it was the golden highlight of the camera button. That's what it was. Just
the video itself was deep. Like it was thought-provoking. It was really well done, and I think it was fantastic. And whoever did make it should work for Google because that was sick. I mean, let's face it, that was really cool. Going from a single pixel to the whole thing, 4 million, and then that was really cool. So you got to give somebody props.
It was really cool, and I'll give them props for that. But like Ron said, design firms do this all the time. Like look at the iPhone video with the hologram keyboard and all that crap.
Yeah.
I mean, they just do this.
Which some news corporation actually ran and has an actual product.
Poor Fox News.
Poor Fox local affiliate. But, so these companies do this, and obviously this guy did it right, and he got a bunch of buzz, and now people are going to look at Slinky Me or whoever the hell they are and see what other things they can do, and people might hire them, even though they're obviously shady. But yeah, I mean, this stuff happens all the time.
They did a good job, especially.
Servers might get hacked and your stuff's going to get leaked.
Yeah, and the CEO doesn't know any English, but that's fine. So, they did do a better job. Do you remember the honeycomb preview video that Motorola put out?
Yeah,
That really, really bad 3D animation. This was a lot better than that.
It's true.
Yeah, some of these companies need to hire Slinky Me, I think.
Motorola.
I'm going to be an advocate for Slinky Me now, just because I like saying Slinky Me. So,
Slinky me, Slinky you.
But speaking of Chromebooks, we want to talk about another sort of Chromebook topic that comes up, sometimes in the comments, sometimes just between us on the side, and it's why are they so unpopular, or why have people... So we know they're going to like government agencies, at least Google says so, and schools and things like that. They're really affordable. They obviously don't have a lot of power, but they're essentially just a browser. They're not much of an operating system. But why are they so unpopular? Why does nobody want one? Eric, there was a time when you were really, really down with getting a Chromebook.
Eric was desperate to get his hands on a Chromebook for some reason. I don't know what the deal was.
Every time
have you done this, or do you not care anymore? Is it still on your list?
Here's the thing. I really like Chromebooks. I really like the idea. If I had the money for the 3G one, I would have one. But the main problem is I'm a power user on my MacBook. Like there's so much that I need to do on my MacBook that
do you have your dock on the left instead of on the bottom? Is that how power user you are?
Oh, how do you know? I'm not even trolling right now.
You have the dock at the top. Wow.
It's on the left. It's on the left.
That's what I said. Yeah, left.
It's right.
Every power user constantly left.
Yeah, dude. Anyway, there's so much that I need my laptop to do.
Such a troll.
Yeah, he is.
He's the worst.
Keep going.
You started, Tim.
No, I did.
All right,
Eric.
Sorry, Eric.
I want to hear you.
Sorry.
Eric, Chromebook. Go.
Yeah, like Photoshop and stuff like that the Chromebook's never going to be able to handle. And that's the main reason keeping me from having it. Because I like, the earlier ones I wasn't really a fan of, but the new Samsung one that came out, and I forget which, was it the Acer that recently came out? They look really, really decent, you know?
Yeah. They're not bad. Some of the battery life on them is terrible. I don't know what they're doing. They're really cheap and they're keeping the price down, but every time one comes out, it seems like the battery life's like 3.5 hours.
4 hours?
Like, 4 hours.
Wasn't that Acer one even lower? It was like 2 or something?
I thought it was like 3 or 3.5.
3? Yeah, I'm sorry. I would just throw it in the trash. It's really not going to do anybody any good if you can't even take it out, out to the world with you.
That's what I thought. I thought they were pushing like 9 hours of battery life or something like that. That was the big deal about it.
I think
just the big deal was it boots up in 10 seconds.
Yeah, it does. So I pulled mine out in the last day once that all-in-one messenger thing came out, and I updated. I hadn't used the thing in I don't know how long, and it updated to the newest version of Chrome OS, which actually sort of looks like Windows a little bit. You can dock apps, and it actually has a home screen. It's actually kind of cool. It does it's more like a normal computer, but it's still, like you said, Eric. It's not for power users. You can't. The photo editing plugins or add-ons you can get in Chrome just aren't that awesome, and yeah, it's tough to do a lot of stuff on.
Like for the people that they're giving it to, like little kids, like they're doing it in schools and stuff, it's perfect because that's what you need. You need the Google apps and not much else, Yeah. You don't want to give them a laptop that can run Minecraft or Doom because they will put Minecraft or Doom on it. Right. And
good point.
Yeah,
and that's a true story, by the way.
And prawn. Don't forget prawn. Internet prawn. Lots of prawn.
I think they have a lot of control over it. They're kind of nice for just browsing. That's sort of it. Which would be good for a kid to use in school to browse and use Google Docs and use that Google integration. But it's definitely not for a hardcore user.
Someone in the comments on one of my posts was like, "Oh, you should do like a Droid Life review and like use it for a week and not your laptop." And I was like, "I can't." Like that.
You wouldn't get any updates on the website.
Exactly. I'm a WordPress power user. I gotta have a real laptop here. So.
I tried one day. I drove up to Seattle on like a Friday and at like noon, and it's only like a 3-hour drive from Portland. And I pulled out the Chromebook. I had just gotten it and was like, "Oh, maybe my wife drive." And I was like, "I need to work." So I pulled it up and was trying to work just for 3 hours. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I had too many tabs and I needed to edit some stuff.
Well, that was also on the old.
It was
version of Chrome OS, which was
that is true.
Understandably garbage.
Yeah,
it's gotten a little bit better.
Kellen literally keeps 100 tabs open on his desktop. I don't know how his computer just doesn't die.
I don't get that either.
16 gig of RAM, that's why.
And he's always like, oh, you know, my flash keeps dying on me. Like, maybe because you got 100 tabs open and they're all running flash.
Well,
Who's using
it's like-
Flash?
No,
If
they've
one of
actually
them-
fixed that now.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
If one of the tabs
Yes.
starts playing music, how do you know? Like, if
How do you know which
going
one
off
it
on an
is?
ad,
Right
you
click,
search for,
close
like,
everything to the
15
left.
minutes.
I don't know. Let's see how many tabs I have open right now. Well, there's 5 over there.
Over
You have-
20.
wait, multiple windows with multiple tabs?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
There's another 10. I mean, I probably have like 15 or 16 open right now, plus this
I've got
Hangout.
4.
I have 2.
I'm a minimal kind of guy. I like to keep 4 open at tops.
Yeah.
I'm a
Where's
multitasking
the most?
machine. I mean, I have tabs for like all 3 of my Gmail accounts.
Colin, you're more of a power user than I am.
Oh, yeah.
He has 2 docs.
I would say sometimes I have the laptop open too, but yeah, I'm bad. That's what I do all day. I'm a cave troll and I play on the internet. So we sort of decided they're just not that popular because they're not for
They're not for us.
they're not for us. Yeah. I haven't really seen what's everybody saying in the chat. Anybody saying I love my Chromebook? I haven't seen that
No,
yet.
there was a guy earlier, I forget his name now, but he said he got the Samsung one and was bored within a couple days.
Mhm.
Forgive me for not remembering your name, but it was a couple minutes ago.
Poor Chromebook. It'll catch on someday, or they'll just keep pumping out in schools, which might be fine.
If they came out with a high-res one that rivaled the MacBook Pro, I think they'd entice some people.
Maybe if it had like a touchscreen and was designed by Google.
See, I don't know. Touchscreen,
Only if it was
that would-
promoted by Slinky Me. I would buy it.
I'd put my money down right now.
Would you buy? Yeah. Would you buy a Slinky Me Chromebook and every time you type something, it's whatever he would say, just in broken English.
Tomorrow I'm going to do a post with Slinky Me rhetoric or whatever that would be.
Yeah.
Slinky Me text.
Make sure there are spaces between all your punctuation.
Dot space exclamation. All right, let's get out of this Chromebook stuff. Let's talk about MWC just real briefly. The Mobile World Congress coming up in like 3.5 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. And as we get closer to it, it seems more and more like while it was for the last 2 years was one of the biggest mobile conferences in the world, it seems like people are staying away from it. Samsung, as far as we know, doesn't have any sort of event plans. I don't even know if they have a booth planned. Well, we found out today that the Google team, the Google Android team anyway, won't have an Android booth. And for the last few years, they've been showing off how awesome their Android playground is at the show. That's kind of odd. HTC, while we expected them to unveil their next lineup of phones, it now looks like they're going to do that, on the 19th in New York and London before MWC. It's kind of unfortunate to see these conferences start to die out like this. I mean, these are things that we still have to go to just in case. So as someone that works in the industry, I'm not a big fan of all these guys doing separate events. We have to go to these things to cover them just in case, and then the next week they have an event somewhere else we got to fly to, all that stuff. I mean, I could complain about this for a long time, but it's sort of sad. I don't know.
Samsung's fault.
It is sort of Samsung's fault.
They did the S3 event and they blew the doors off the thing, and now everybody's like, well, we got to have our own event if we're doing a new phone. We got to get everybody to come and, do our thing.
Yeah, and I get why they want to do their own. They don't want to share the spotlight. It makes perfect sense. Apple's been doing it forever. These other companies probably need to start doing it as well, but it's unfortunate. So anyway, let's get out of MWC. Let's talk about this DLX Plus, which could be HTC's version of the M7. So these are all rumors. Again, Tim, nothing's confirmed. But
naturally.
So we had heard that initially we thought Verizon was going to get a version of M7. Then other rumors said no, they're not, or they might be delaying theirs because the DNA's out now and it's still popular and all this fun. And then we saw, where was it? I can't even remember what it was now. It was a post on, sorry, I'm a terrible person. Oh, so a developer, HTC developer, posted up specs for the Verizon version of M7 called the DLX Plus. So if you guys remember, the Droid DNA's code name was DLX. So DLX Plus sort of suggests a bump up, sort of like HTC did with the One X. They did the One X Plus. Although this says that it's a 4.7-inch display, 1080p, not the 5-inch, so it's sort of, that could be considered a downgrade, if you will. But it might have an SD card slot, 13-megapixel camera on the back, which is technically an upgrade, a slightly better Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 processor. Could be fun. I I guess I'm not sure that we need to. I mean, we were sort of disappointed when we heard that HTC and Verizon might be delaying this for a little while, but do we need an M7 on Verizon? Would any of you guys care?
Boo!
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sort of feeling the same way about this phone, which is sad.
I'm still interested because anything is better than my Galaxy Nexus at this point, which I'm still rocking. So
what about this ultra pixel talk? Did you guys follow any of that? The ultra pixel camera stuff?
Yeah, that just sounds like some made-up term that they can use to market something. Oh, like a Retina display. I mean, it's just made up. It means nothing.
Definitely a marketing term. They did sort of tease in that infographic they put out about the history of photography that said in 2013 we're gonna. I don't think they said reinvent, but they said we're going to introduce something new in sound and photography. That should be interesting to see, at least.
Yeah, definitely. I think HTC, what's kind of funny is like in that infographic they put that they were the first company to put like a 3D camera on a phone. Yeah, that turned out really great. I can't wait not to use 3D functionality on my cell phone. So yeah, we'll see. But as far as a ultra pixel goes, I don't know why would we bring that. Smartphones and cameras, they don't mesh well for me, at least so far. I still have troubles finding like a good camera. Like they're decent enough, like Nexus 4, Galaxy S3, and all that, decent cameras. But it's nothing that's gonna replace DSLR anytime soon or anything like that. So
maybe the ultra pixel will.
Dude, if it does, then
because what is it?
HTC's back from the dead.
It's rumored to be 4.3 megapixel sensors or something that combine when our powers combine. Yeah.
It's like the octa-core. it's some marketing term that people are just making up. Like this will sell the octa-core. We'll just stick two together. It's like it's kind of silly at this point.
Yeah, it is.
I guess we'll see though. I mean, shoot, I'm not going to turn it down. I like innovation and all that fun stuff. That's great.
I wouldn't put it past them. The One X's camera software was awesome.
Yeah, the software was okay. Yeah, the original One X camera was one of my favorite things on that. But then, you put out the DNA right after it. What? And it's not even doesn't have the same sensor or something. Like, what's going on? What the heck?
I don't know. HTC's being weird.
I don't know.
They're being weird.
And let's not put it past Verizon to put out a new phone. Like 3 months after one just came out. Let's not swipe that off the table because there's some Bionic people still out there that are still hurting.
Poor Bionic users.
Poor Bionic.
Speaking of poor Android users on Verizon, let's talk about the Thunderbolt just for a second. Thunderbolt ice cream sandwich. Thunderbolt ice cream sandwich approved and rolling out right now. If you have a
Dude, I clicked it and it came in super late. I don't know what's going on. Sorry about that.
Hangouts failing miserably. But yeah, so Thunderbolt ice cream sandwich approved, rolling out. If you got it at Thunderbolt and you're actually still running gingerbread in stock, you can upgrade right now. 395 megabyte file. It's huge. My brother actually has my Thunderbolt, and the day that started rolling out, I told him to check, and he's like, "Oh my God, this thing hasn't been updated since." He couldn't even remember, and he's like, "It's this huge update," and I was like, "Yeah, and you're probably not going to use your phone afterwards because it's going to change it completely from gingerbread." So, but yeah, congrats Thunderbolt owners. Welcome almost to the future.
Almost.
Psych.
Welcome to last year. Sorry.
Yeah, welcome to last year. I saw somebody post up how many days it had been since Ice Cream Sandwich come out. I can't remember. It was like 500 and some. It was
a 21-month or 2-year-old phone for a 15-month-old update or something, I think, like that.
Something crazy like that. I mean, the phone's at its 2-year life. I'm surprised they even updated it at this point. Most people that have it came out, I believe, in April of 2010 or so, 2011. And most of those people have upgrades now. Verizon shouldn't even care, but I guess they sort of stuck to their word.
I was gonna tell my roommate because he had a Thunderbolt, and then I was like, "Oh wait, he upgraded to an S3 like a month and a half ago, so he doesn't have to deal with that anymore."
Yeah, most of the people on Twitter that had Thunderbolt said, "I still have one, but I've already upgraded, so I don't really care. Can I update this thing on Wi-Fi just to see what it looks like?" And that was sort of the extent of that. And speaking of upgrades, though, let's talk about how often we all upgrade phones. We ran a poll about this. And we said, how often do you upgrade? Every 2 years when your contract expires. I know a lot of people also do yearly because they steal upgrades from other family members and things like that, or transfer upgrades around. Or do you just buy new phones when you see one that you like every so often because you're a baller? What do you guys, Tim? How often do you upgrade a phone? When was the last time you bought a phone? I know you and I are kind of different because we test a lot of phones. But like, when was the last time you bought a phone?
Last time I bought a phone or upgraded to a phone was Galaxy Nexus, and I'm not gonna change that on my line. That way, I kind of have a feel for like what our readers are going through, because I know a lot of people just did the same. Like they're on the Galaxy Nexus for 2 years, so I'm gonna hold out and for 2 years on the G Nex, and then so I'll have a better feel of like what people are looking at when their 2 years are up. So that was the last time I officially upgraded / like bought a phone. It's Galaxy Nexus.
Yeah, and before that, it was the OG.
The old Jizzle Jazzle. Yeah. That was it.
Do you want to sell me some carpet, Tim?
I could sell you anything. I could sell you. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah.
Wow. I think you need to trademark the Jizzle Jazzle.
That sounded like 10 times worse than it actually was, but it was so good.
Especially since before the show you did talk about removing stains from the carpet in your other bedroom.
It was Ron that was talking about stains. There was no stains.
I was just assuming that's probably why you're getting rid of it.
I thought that was confirmed, by the way, that it was stained.
No, he said it's been heavily used to do some sort of rubbing or friction or something.
You think the dogs for it. You
that's
think the
better.
dogs.
So you're definitely on the 2-year plan then. Ron, what do you do?
2
2
years.
2 years, 1 year?
2 year. The last phone I bought off contract was actually the Palm Pre 2.
Whoa.
Yeah, that just blow your mind. The mirror on that thing is amazing. I really wanted to get a Pre 3, but the cheapest I found was $400, and I couldn't just justify.
You can't ball that hard.
But it was a Verizon Pre 3 though. That's why that's pretty rare.
Can't ball that hard.
You're balling on a budget.
Yeah, but that Pre 2 still works using Carbon for Twitter on there.
There you go.
Huh?
Carbon. We'll talk about carbon.
We'll talk about Carbon.
We'll get there.
I think we definitely have some opinions on carbon. Eric, what about? Yeah, for us.
I used to rotate upgrades with my family. We had four lines on Verizon, so for a while there, it was like I was getting a new phone every 4 months or something like that. But
that's right. You had like Droid 3, and then all of a sudden you had the Galaxy Nexus. You were
I've had all 3 of the Droids, and then went to the Galaxy Nexus, and I've been on that since then. And I figured I'd let my family get caught up with decent phones instead of getting hand-me-downs. So
that's so nice of you.
Yeah, I know, right? So I'm still on the Galaxy Nexus, and I think everybody's caught up now. So I think there's an upgrade coming in a month or 2 that I'm planning on taking.
M7 DNA Plus.
So that's why I'm still interested in the M7, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people do they steal upgrades if they're on family accounts, which they should. Not everyone wants a new phone. A lot of people's moms and stuff really don't care.
People just don't care sometimes.
We did have 50% basically said every 2 years, but 31% said whenever I see a new phone. So clearly there's some ballers.
We got some ballers.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love it.
I don't really fit into that stuff because I do this for a living, so I technically buy phones quite a bit for work, so I don't really count. I think I bought a 1X at some point. Nexus 4, that was it. So anyway, I don't really count. Yep, let's talk about Pebble real quick. So Pebble smartwatch. Can you guys see that? Oh, this is at a meeting. There we go. Pebble. So I reviewed Pebble, the Kickstarter crowdfunded smartwatch, and as e-paper display lasts mine lasts about 5 days on the first charge. It could last up to 7. It does notifications from Gmail, Google Voice, Google Talk, regular email, calendar, Facebook, all that fun stuff. I would just say overall, I like the watch. I've been using it now for almost a full week. I still like it just because I get simple, small notifications. But it lacks a few things, which I touched on in my review. So if you get multiple notifications at a time, you can't toggle through those. Whatever the new one is, it just replaces whatever your previous one was. So if Tim's spamming me off on Gtalk, I only get whatever his last message was. And if I get an email, then his message goes away, so I didn't even get to see what he said. So that's sort of frustrating.
Well, usually the last thing I tell you on Gtalk is LOL, because just lol.
So that's what I'm left with a lot on my watch. There's different clock faces you can put on it, which are fun. We're sort of waiting, I think, for developers to build out app support for it. Now, there's a developer that already built out an app that uses Tasker, so you can actually create notifications for almost any app using Tasker. Now you have to know, I think, a little bit of code possibly, although there's forums that are already helping people create these things. You can do one so if your battery's low on your phone, it'll notify you on your Pebble, which is kind of cool. There's one for that. There's some other notifications for just other apps that you would normally get them from. I'm sure you could build in one for Twitter and things like that. So there's some work to be done. I really want them to build out GPS compatibility so that if your phone's using an app with GPS or like a running app or something like that, it'll show up on the watch, which they showed in their Kickstarter preview. It's just not there yet. But overall, it's a cool watch. $150 though now at retail seems a bit steep for what it does, or doesn't do, I should say.
Yeah.
There's a lot of smart watches out there. Like Tim, you're looking at what's that called, the Meta Watch?
Meta Watch Strata. I was into it for like the first few days, and then it died like on 2 days, and literally I haven't even charged it up, man. I'm over smartwatches. I'm just like, what is the point of this? Because I couldn't figure out, like, I could check my last notification, but I couldn't figure out, and I Googled everything, like, I couldn't figure out to actually read an email or do anything like that. There's no real, like, functionality. It only acts as, like, a second display almost for your phone, and kind of like a black and white display that I would rather just pull out my phone, man. I'm sorry, smart watch wanters, but the Meta Watch is not my cup of tea.
Nike Fuel Band is the best.
Yeah, except it doesn't do anything except count fuel points. Fantastic. And it doesn't even have an Android app. Me and Kellen,
so mad.
Yeah, me and Kellen like spam off their official Twitter feed all the time. Like, okay, where's the app, bro?
Yeah.
I actually got
It's not coming.
I got a response from them last year.
Last year?
We
Yeah,
get
I
responses
tweeted
a
them.
lot.
Yeah.
I tweeted them around this time last year. I was like, yo, you said there was going to be an Android app. And they're like, yeah, it'll be out this summer.
Yeah, we're just chilling. We're chilling on it.
So Tim and I tweet them every like other month or something and complain. So you can do it right now, and they'll respond to you probably tomorrow. And they'll say, I think now they're telling people like we don't have any availability or
No ETA.
Yeah, there's nothing. It used to be, it was coming this summer. Now it's just completely gone. They don't even care.
That is just such a crockish. That's crap.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the Tato show.
Mm-hmm.
That Corona's getting to you, man.
Yeah, Ron. Do you have any thoughts on smartwatches? Have any of them that you've seen come out appeal to you at all? From the Photo Active to the Pebble to the Meta Watch to I think there's a couple others.
Yeah, there's a bunch of others.
Yeah.
The Pebble excites me the most. I did back it. I threw down the 150.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to get mine whenever that'll be. Who knows? But I don't know. I think it's definitely a good idea. Most of them aren't built out as much as they should be. So like even Pebble, like they keep promising they're going to keep continued development. Yeah. I don't know if they actually will or not. I don't totally trust them on that since they missed their ship date and everything else like that. So, but like I love the idea of getting notifications on my wrist. Being the big thing for me would be they had the last generation iPod Nano. There are a bunch of ways that you can make it into a watch. Mm-hmm. And so I love the idea of having something on your wrist that you can, especially being able to swipe through it and just show different things. So swipe here's the weather, swipe here's your last notification, swipe here's whatever other little piece of information. So I love the idea of it. I wear a watch regularly, so it's definitely it's already part of I'm already looking there I'm looking there for time, so it'd be great to look there for other information. But and especially if it worked well with your phone, to where like if you check something that it gets rid of that notification on your phone, so you don't have to keep clearing that.
It doesn't.
Yeah. So if they're able to build that in, and really at the end of the day, there's been several articles talking about how Pebble's got some issues both on Android and iOS where things aren't totally built out. And so at the end of the day, it's just going to be if Apple and or Google come out with a watch and does all that. And somebody just pointed out, have you actually tried the Moto Active? No, I haven't. I've seen it. It does a lot of that stuff, but it's not perfect. So, and that's the thing is like not everything connects well, and like I said with the notification thing, that's like super. Like I hate having to clear notifications on multiple devices. Mm-hmm. It's the worst. So, and that's why I bring this up almost every single show, but I love that vision that HP had with the touchpad and the Pre 3, where you can basically just push your session between them and pick up exactly where you're left off. I would love to see Google come out with that, where everything that you've got going on in your phone is exactly what's going on in your tablet and your Chromebook or whatever else. It's the same on all your devices, shows up the same. So.
Back to the fuel ban just real quick, because I know we talked about Android users being cheap. I think that was last week. Nike must have this feeling that Android users can't afford the fuel band, and
That's
so they're
probably
like,
true.
screw it. Yep. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Yeah.
Nike is those Instagram people that are just they think all of Android.
I know there's got to be at least 1 or 2 Nike employees up here in Portland watching this show. Come on.
I know. Well, what I'm assuming they're doing is they're gonna. So on the web interface for the Fuel Band, they've combined it like a couple months ago with just Nike Plus in general, so like Nike Plus watches and stuff. Right. I'm assuming they're rebuilding the Nike Plus app to allow Fuel Band stuff as well, which would make sense. They should have just done that from the beginning. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming that's what they're doing, and that's probably what delayed. Like I think they were probably building a Fuel Band app, standalone app, and now I think they're probably just trying to integrate it, and they're just terrible developers or something like that.
They're too busy making shoes. Well,
busy making shoes is right.
Yeah,
somebody mentioned the Moto Active. Eric and I each have a Moto Active. We each used them for a while. I used it for a long time, but I started syncing all my stuff with Nike Plus, so I ditched it, and I used one of those Nanos that you can use as a watch, actually, Ron.
Here was the big deal breaker for me as far as the Moto Active. I used it for a watch. I bought this stupid $35 watch band, which is a ridiculous price for just a wristband.
Now comes bundled in there. Or like 6 months later, they started bundling.
Oh my gosh, I was so upset, and I couldn't even find one for the longest time. So that already made me mad. But I got some wireless Bluetooth headphones, and the Moto Active didn't have a Bluetooth transmitter strong enough to, like, if I'm running, my arms are moving, and the sound would cut out in my freaking headphones. And I'm like, I'm not gonna run a string from my headphones down to my wrist while I'm running. That's just like it just turned me off, and I just moved completely over to the Nike.
Sacrifices, bro. You gotta do what you gotta do.
It was just so stupid. I was like, it's really like, I don't know, 3 feet maybe from come on, you can do better than that, Motorola.
Yeah, they did.
The headphones worked better with other devices though?
Yeah, they worked fine with my phone.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I've actually got them right here. I got a pair of Motorola Bluetooth, and they work great. Yeah,
I think and it might have been the headphones, but they work fine with every other device that I have. I have like the model before that.
Okay.
So it could be the headphones, but I've never had a problem with them anywhere else. So I don't know.
It
just turned me off.
It was kind of a bust. I mean, it was a cool idea, but then they fired Sanjay, who was like leading the charge on that, so it just didn't happen. They haven't updated in I don't know how long. Maybe all the updates and stuff, and I don't remember the last time they updated it. They've clearly abandoned it, which is kind of unfortunate. I mean, the thing was like $250 or something, wasn't it? It wasn't cheap.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's talk about apps and games just for a minute, change it up a little bit. Tim, you got something you want to share?
Yeah, usually I have something to share. Yeah, today I just have one game. It's called Edge. I wrote it up, I think, yesterday or maybe 2 days ago on Monday. But it's called Edge. And there's 3 versions. There's the demo, Edge, and then Edge Extended. And it costs, I think it's like $3 for the extended version. But the app is really cool. My friend, he's got an iPhone. He came to me and said, hey, man, check out this game. And I was like, all right, before you show me this game, I'm going to see if it's available for Android. And so usually they are not available for Android. But this one was. And I was like, hey, man, it's available for Android. So I downloaded it. And, man, it's sweet. It's pretty interesting. It's kind of hard to explain the game, but you're just like a colorful cube, and you're always like changing. And it's a bright, pretty game, so maybe kids will like it too. But you're just going around navigating the levels, which is like a puzzle. And yeah, you're a block, and you kind of go around, and you collect other blocks, little blocks, and you reach the end of the level, and that's it. But the levels become extremely hard. It's pretty addictive because the music's pretty good. You know, it looks nice, feels good. It's a good game. So Edge, all capitals, EDGE. If you want to check it out.
If you don't use capitals, you're not going to find it, by the way.
Oh,
yeah, you're probably going to find, I don't know, not it.
Something.
You'll probably find it if you don't use capitals. I'm just letting people know, Eric, that it's all capitals.
We returned also onto a game the other night called Shapes and Sound. Did you ever play that, Tim, or was it just me?
No, I was going to write it up, but then you took it, and so I never got to playing it.
All right, so this game called Shapes and Sound, the Shape Shooter. It's kind of got the longest, most ridiculous game ever, but it's like asteroids, but there's power-ups and shapes and swipe gestures, and you can flip between shapes. And I don't know, it's really cool. It's one of those games that has a really good soundtrack to it. And actually, when you first boot up the game, it says please put in headphones so you can fully experience the game. But it's designed really well. Like all the transitions for menus and everything are really, really nice. Like whoever the company is, they did a really good job with it. I think it's $1. Definitely worth it if you just want a good time waster. But I don't know, it's fun. It's got swipe gestures. There's video on it on the site if you want to look it up. You guys want to talk about Carbon? Carbon?
Yes.
Carbon Twitter, not Carbon Backup, by the way. Which is really funny because when Koch put out that Carbon Backup app, he sort of made some comments about how naming it Carbon was a joke, and I sort of wonder if it had to do with this and how it was never released. And he just wanted to steal the name before it actually got released.
I guarantee you 100% that's
I mean, he's kind of one of the ultimate trolls on Android, so I wouldn't put it past him, which is really funny. But yeah, let's talk about Carbon Twitter. Have you guys all had a chance to use it? It's sort of been this...
Downloaded it within the first 5 minutes. It was available on Google Play, Kellen. And you know what? I'm a little disappointed to tell you.
You're a little disappointed after all.
Tim's right down to it.
Man, because you get... I know Ron's probably got something to say, but you... there's just so many Twitter clients out there, and when you come out with something completely lackluster, such as Carbon for Twitter, I was just completely disappointed. And how dare they not even charge $1 for it? I figured it would at least be $1.
Free, it's free, no ads. I think the two biggest selling points are free and no ads.
Yeah,
the UI is really fast, right? When you start flipping around stuff, it's really, really smooth, which is cool.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty nice. We were talking about it before the show, and I can't use it. I'm a Falcon Pro sort of homer, but I like Falcon Pro because I have 2 panels on each side that you can swipe to get to lists and shortcuts, and it's really fast. With Carbon, I had to go, because I'm a list sort of, I don't want to say whore. Okay, I'm a list whore. And I use lists and Twitter like crazy. And with Carbon, in order to get to lists, there's a couple extra steps you have to take. Like you have to hit menu and then find the little tiny list icon, and then it'll swipe over, and then you have to choose, or you have to click on your sort of profile logo, and hopefully they refresh every time you go into your profile, which they don't every time. You can choose lists from there, and then it's a totally different UI for your list rather than using the menu on the outside. So the UI was a little bit broken for me. So that was sort of my main reason, was just getting into lists and things like that. And yeah, I mean, I used it. I did a quick video for it, and I was done using it, I think, within like 20 minutes. And I tried to go back a couple of times, but Falcon Pro is just awesome.
Yeah, someone said Carbon is good. People are just mad because it took forever. Yeah, I'll be the first one to tell you I wasn't waiting for it.
No, I
did not care because I already had Falcon and a million other Twitter clients that were already out. So I was not waiting for it. And it really is just like, I know, and yeah, someone said it's still an early release. That's cool. Really, I'm sure it's going to be updated. I'm sure it'll have stuff. But man, I mean, is it going to be able to switch me from Falcon, or probably not? Because Falcon, I don't know. I'm a Falcon fanboy. That app is just really good. It's like the first one that feels really complete to me. So,
Ron, let's hear it. Carbon. You got some opinions?
Yeah, so I'm using it right now. And,
what the hell is that?
You can see it's got a nice swiping gesture.
On your 2-inch display.
What does it? Does that actually look like the Android version? I've not actually seen it.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see that very well.
They're all pretty uniform across.
Yeah, I've also used it on Windows Phone. I've got one of those somewhere over there. But yeah, it's nice. I mean, it's got, you can tap to make a tweet. It adds a new card for you, so you can.
Do you need to put glasses on to read what's going on that screen? That's
pretty much.
Tiny.
Yeah, bifocals, not just regular glasses.
Okay.
Really. But you can shorten links. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's a small screen, but and then you just tap the bottom, and you can just swipe that card away. Look at that intuitive UI. Yeah, I was excited about it because it had been hype beast by another site that shall remain unnamed, and so I was excited about it.
Site?
No, it couldn't possibly be hype beast because we're the only people who hype beast.
we did not hype beast this app, by the way.
No,
I know what Rod's talking about.
Yeah. Back when it first came out, you and I, Kellen, were pretty excited when we first saw that first video of it.
Oh yeah,
it looked really slick.
Yeah, half ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then we both stopped caring.
Yeah, way back in the day.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, continue, Ron. Sorry about that.
Continue, Ron.
Yeah. So it's, I was excited about the idea of having another Twitter app. I had used Carbon on WebOS. It's easily the best Twitter app on WebOS. Not that anybody actually cares. So I was excited about that. I used it on Windows Phone as well. What do I have a trophy. That's what it is. So you know, it's a decent Twitter app. So I was excited about it, and so you know, when I finally got the chance to play with it, I hadn't even watched any of the videos. I didn't want to get too excited. I didn't want to get let down. So, you know, first time actually looking at anything about it was when I opened up the app, and you know, lo and behold, it's just a prettier version of TweetDeck, which is great. Don't get me wrong, love TweetDeck, super innovative back in 2009. But you know, it's 2013, and so like you know, the idea of using, and you know, this is something I kind of want to get into a little bit more, and we can get into it more later. But it's you know, it's missing you know, some features that have become pretty standard. The UI,
like a widget.
Yeah. I don't know if you've used Android, but a lot of apps have those. You know, when you tap this menu, the idea that you have this menu button on the side drives me bonkers. But then you know, you tap that, and then do you have any list to tell you what any of those icons mean? No, you get to guess. And you know,
that's just like every other Google-made app, though. They make us guess what even like copy and paste is.
Yeah, like, which personally I love, because you know, either I'm copying and pasting or I'm deleting everything in my Gmail. So it's great. You know, so I'm guessing the little thing that looks like a, you know, it's just it's fine. It's okay. But the thing is you know, the competition isn't TweetDeck anymore. You know, and even a year ago, really, TweetDeck you could get away with claiming that you used it. But the UI is fine. It's good. It can expand up to a larger tablet if they let you install it on tablets. Good luck trying to get it to work on there. But you know, compared to something like Falcon Pro, it's. I mean, you know, we were talking about it earlier before. Falcon Pro is not the prettiest app ever. It's not my favorite design of an app, but it works really, really well. And you know, I mean, with the column, you don't have a lot of column support in here. I mean, if you're looking for an app that you know has that column UI where it'll expand up and stuff like that, look at Tweetings. It's got mute filters and all that other kind of stuff. But Carbon is if you're going to use Carbon, use it on WebOS. I guess is what I would say.
Yeah. I just want to say when you were saying, you know, no one uses TweetDeck because that was like in 2009. All I could think of was Cover uses TweetDeck, and sure enough, he's in the chat. And he goes, "Hey Ron, I still use TweetDeck. Suck on that."
I use TweetDeck for my PC, but that's not. I mean, that's different.
It's in a browser.
Exactly.
That's what you're in all day. You know what I don't want to be in on my Android phone? TweetDeck. You know why? It sucks.
No, see what Cover uses on Android too.
Yeah, he's admitting it, and I personally I think it's glad that he's admitting that now. I mean, it's good. We can finally get him the help that he needs.
That's healthy.
Cover of all people being like the design.
Right, he wants something that looks good.
Yeah, the genius that he is, still using TweetDeck.
TweetDeck.
I can't stand how TweetDeck looks.
It looks beautiful. What are you talking about?
He could at least get on Hootsuite or something like that.
I've got 4 buttons on the bottom here. Does anybody want to guess what any of those mean at all?
No.
Something to plus?
One of them's check in here.
Yeah,
How
do you refresh this? Do you pull it from the top? No, there's no pull to refresh. You hit that magical menu button on the side and hit refresh.
Really? That's insane.
Yep. Bought by Twitter though, so they're going to support it. Don't worry about it.
Can you make?
So long ago. Poor Cover.
Can you make an opinion on this so people can just like laugh?
Do you think I haven't been specific enough about how I feel about these things? Yeah, guys, if you're looking for a Twitter app, TweetDeck is where it's at. That or what is it? Twidroid? Is that how you pronounce that? Or Seismic? Seismic's really great, especially if you have a big, tall screen like the Note 2. You're gonna need like 3 hands to reach that top button to change your column. It's gonna be great.
You could just do like an audio opinion piece. That'd be great.
Hootsuite bought Seismic.
Hootsuite bought them.
I like Hootsuite, but it's one of the ugliest damn apps ever. But I use it as my desktop thing.
Oh, and their new widget that they just put out is the worst looking thing I've ever seen in my life. And a big Hootsuite logo on the bottom. I'm not going to put this on my home screen. I'm sorry.
Like, I love their cute little owl logo, but the design of Hootsuite, it's one of the worst. I mean, even their web browser version, it's ugly. But I just like the features in it. Yeah.
Okay, so back to Carbon.
Oh yeah, Eric, yeah, you were one of the early followers of Carbon, so I'd love to hear what you have to say.
And I think my opinion is pretty much the same as Ron's. Like, this would have been a decent app if it came out a year and a half ago, if it didn't get delayed for so long. Like, I don't know. I like how it looks. I'm not personally not a big fan of how Falcon Pro looks. Falcon Pro works the best out of any of the Twitter apps. But I'm not a fan of how it looks. Carbon looks good, doesn't really work that well. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm one of the people that uses the stock or the Twitter app.
Oh,
and
what?
I keep getting drawn back to that. I don't
Why?
know.
Why? Do you have like some sort of an affection? What's going on there?
It's
Did you lose a bet?
Yeah, I did actually, and $50.
Wow. Is that what happened to Tim's carpet?
Yes.
What?
It's a long story.
Mm-hmm.
Composing.
Enough about my carpet.
Can we call the J butterfly the Jizzle butterfly? Is that okay? Is that appropriate?
Jizzle Jazzle butterfly.
What kind of accessories would come with the Jizzle butterfly? Some sort of a wiping cloth for your screen?
Yes, lots of them.
Go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
I don't know if Falcon Pro is updated to fix this, but the fact that I don't know all of my friends' Twitter handles by name, and they usually change by the week. So the fact that the actual Twitter app finishes those for me.
The most recent ones, you mean, that you've talked to the last 50?
No, if I type in my friend's name, it'll pull up their thing.
Yeah, that works.
Stop trolling. Stop trolling Eric, Ron. You're getting to me, man.
One of them is Tim. I'm not going to tweet it.
Oh, is because I don't know if Falcon does that because I haven't been using Falcon.
It does.
So,
it does.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then I'll.
Falcon a try again.
Yeah.
I saw somebody in the chat mention that we hype beasted Falcon. We did hype beast Falcon.
We did because it's a good app.
Because it's awesome.
Because it actually works and works well and looks good while working well.
And it does. And I gotta say, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but it feels unlike most of these other apps. It feels like it was designed for Android.
It does.
When you open it up and you look at, especially that sliding pane where you can slide over and switch over dimensions and stuff like that. It feels like it was designed for a modern Android phone. That's when you're looking for an app instead of something that's just been ported over or something like that. That's pretty important.
Yeah, it's a nice app. Really good.
I agree. It's got a ways to go. Carbon has a ways to go, but that's all right. It's new.
Carbon will probably be pretty good eventually. Right now, it's just lacking a few things. And
Yeah, give it a few months, and maybe we'll hype beast it.
I kind of don't understand. Apparently, everyone can't hear me. Here, I'll hold the mic up. Is this better?
Well, you've been going in and out because whenever you go, that's a noise canceling mic, man. You can't go far and then close.
Yeah, just really get close to it. Just really back it up on there. Yeah.
Is this close enough?
Mm-hmm.
You guys can see the orange light in my nose.
Yeah, get a little deeper
That's
though,
awesome.
like a deeper voice. James Earl Jones it.
Hey, baby.
I don't think I can James Earl Jones. I'm sick. I can't even talk. I'm nasally as it gets.
Well, then lean into the raspiness of your voice though. Really.
Sorry, folks. I'm back.
it really wasn't that much of a problem, but yeah.
All right, let's talk about.
I can't even
Come on, you gotta stonewall that. You gotta stay in character.
It's not gonna work.
Hey, big boys.
I can't. I keep trying. All right, let's talk about some more apps. You guys have any other
Tim's
apps?
making
you
out
want
with
to
his
talk
dogs over there.
Do you guys, let's talk about some more apps, shall we?
Oh, please do that for the rest of the show.
about? I would try. There's a vibrator. Do you guys have
No,
any more
I think
apps, or are we going to move on?
I think that's all the apps.
All right, well, we can sort of continue this Twitter talk a little bit. Ron wants to talk about Android design in general. So, Ron, do you want to sort of take off on where you were, or you have somewhere else to go with that?
We can, real quick, Evan the Gamer in the chat, who I've definitely seen
let's
other
do it real
places. Bane voice. Let's see what you got.
I can't do the Bane noise.
But he's got the mic right there. Come on. Let's see what you got. Come on.
Gotham's Reckoning. That's all I got.
Tell me you were born in the dark.
That's all I got.
I was born in the dark. You gotta get the high and low.
If I try to go high right now, it's just going to crack all of it.
That's what I'm hoping for. Just get really close to that mic.
Oh my god.
That's it. I'm done.
You're done. Okay.
That's like my favorite movie of 2012. Thank you, Kellen. That was fantastic.
That was so good.
Okay. Ron,
please continue.
Yeah, so like I was, oh yeah, he's getting into bed, yeah. Covers.
That dog is enormous.
Sorry, I thought my mic was muted, so I was yelling at him.
Is that a euphemism? Can we do it under the covers instead of an after dark? Is that okay?
The wolf pack will now exit.
I was going to try to go National Geographic on it, but I don't even know what to talk about.
You want to talk about the animals are doing to each other, is what you want to... So Android design, we're gonna get back on track. People are gonna podcast you. We're gonna love this. What happened at 10? You don't know. Maybe it was the dogs. Maybe it wasn't. So So like I said earlier, Falcon Pro, it feels like an app that was designed for Android. So those of you listening along or watching along, go ahead and open up Falcon Pro on your phones.
All right,
hopefully it's
Ron,
not a...
I'll join you.
You got it? Okay. So obviously you can tap on top to switch between the different messages and everything else like that. But the swiping on the left to switch between timeline, mentions, DMs, retweets, favorite, it's got all that stuff. And then swiping, technically you're swiping to the right with the pane that's on, or to the left with the pane that's on the right. You've got starred users and searches and all that kind of stuff. Look at that.
Hey,
so it's a nicely designed app. Now there are other apps. Path I think was the first app to really show off doing the side pane that other apps eventually adopted. But a lot of these apps, you try to do the swipe from the side and you have to be dragging from the edge and stuff like that. They're not well designed. But I think the big thing is we've seen a shift, and eventually I'm going to finish writing about this. But we've seen a shift in apps, and I think we can look at Twitter as a lens for that, of how app design has changed. You look at an app and you can still download most of these. You look at an app like TweetDeck, Seismic. TweetDeck was the first really innovative app that did this sliding thing that has become standard part of Holo and the Android design guidelines, which are not required but probably should be. But if you look at something like Seismic, where all the buttons to switch between things are all along the top, which was fine when you're trying to rock the original Droid with 3.7-inch screen or the Incredible or something like that. Once you get up to something like the Note or, God forbid, the Note 2, and you can't one-hand that. That's just not, it's not how things are supposed to be designed. So I think, looking at just how Twitter apps have evolved, if you guys can find, Twitter has a blog post when they first originally released Twitter for Android. Take a look at how that app looks. It's pretty horrendous. There's been this huge shift in terms of how apps are designed, how apps work. And Carbon, like I said, I was super excited for Carbon. I was hoping it would change things up a little bit, like Falcon Pro did, and I was a little bit disappointed that it was basically like most of the other Twitter apps that are out there. But I'm hoping to see some more innovation. That's it's something that they're pushing from Google. They've done a lot of stuff. Matthias did a series of interviews after the last I/O where he was going around talking about how they're just trying to avoid if you read through the Android design guidelines, probably some people went through like the first couple pages, but if you keep going through, they talk about things like pogo sticking and how developers should avoid that so that people aren't just tapping all over the place. And Matthias is talking about how he wants this natural gesture-based design that he obviously was trying to pioneer with WebOS, but that didn't take off. So anyway, just to turn the conversation back to you guys, how do you guys feel about just as far as how apps are designed and everything else like that? Do you guys feel like there's room for improvements in some ways, and in which ways? And what are some apps that you think are kind of pushing that?
Well, for example, like Stitcher, the podcast app, the really popular podcast app, it's just got a big update, and it's all sort of Android design guidelines. It's swipe between columns. It's got the action bar, and they actually, when they released it, they talked about how they followed all those guidelines. So I do think like developers are starting to at least go towards Google. I'm trying to think of some other ones offhand, but it seems like lately whenever we talk about an app, it's a big update, finally follows all the Android guidelines and all that stuff. I like the action bar and sort of the swiping between stuff, because like you sort of mentioned, when you get to bigger devices, it's tougher and tougher to use them with one hand. But with what Google's doing, although when they put the action bar at the top, that sort of kills all of that. Mm-hmm. So I am one of those people that likes the action bar at the bottom. So I'd like to see some more either standardization or something there. But I like the panel swiping, all of that stuff that they're doing, and I'm glad that more developers are finally starting to sort of step up their game on that. That's all I have. I like developers to do nice things.
Yeah, I mean, well, when developers do nice things, I think it helps us.
Oh, really? Tell us more.
Right? Well, when you ask, like, what apps, are impressive design-wise or whatever, I mean, Falcon is one of those. I mean, and then again, Carbon is nice as well. But then again, say you got a guy like Kosh, who just kind of like, he pulls an app out of like his rear, it seems like, just every other month. Yeah, and it looks great and works great. The dude has got something going on. He's got some type of magic sauce for making apps. So
the guy's he's like technically a genius, I think. I mean, I think that's fair to say. It's not really fair.
Don't bloat his ego. I'm sure he probably is in terms of coding and all that. Like a lot of the stuff he talks about, of course, way over my head. It's not my deal. But yeah, he's a really gifted app maker, I think. So he's one of those guys leading the charge, I think, in good-looking apps. But other in terms of that, I mean, if there was like a major developer that was pushing good apps, I would say it was kind of Google. I mean, they kind of have some pretty good-looking apps.
Okay, well, I was meaning to talk about that. Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Like, if you look at the YouTube app and it's got that sliding, you can pull to the left and it opens up the list. But then you go to the Google Plus app and it's got that same list on the side, but you can't pull it open. You can't swipe it open. You have to hit that stupid button at the top.
Yeah, of course it's on top.
Like, Google doesn't even follow their own guidelines half the time.
Well, they do explicitly. They talk about that, and they talk about the action bar, and it's not like if you go through, like if you guys want to go check out Android design, you can just do a Google search for it, or Bing search, I guess, and look through some of the protocols, because they talk about the action bar and stuff like that, and they talk about emphasizing swiping and stuff like that. And one of the things in that interview is with Josh at The Verge that Matthias gave that interview with right after the Nexus 7 came out. It's at Google I/O, and Josh was giving Matthias crap because he kept on saying, look at Twitter for Android, or sorry, look at Twitter for the iPad, how it's a totally different app on the iPad than it is on the iPhone. And Josh is making this argument that different apps should fit different screen sizes and work differently. If you're on a phone, an app should work for to be designed to work specifically on a phone versus on a tablet, because you have way more space and things are you're going to use things differently on there. And so Matthias used Google Plus as an example, and he said, look at Google Plus. We've got on the tablet you're swiping horizontally versus on a phone you're swiping vertically to look at content. And I think that works to some degree, but then you've got like you said, Eric, you've got these this thing on the top there that you got to tap instead of swipe.
That's the most annoying thing in the world.
Well, yeah, and it's almost like they haven't. Yeah, and it's almost like they haven't used a modern Android phone, like I don't know, any one of the Nexus devices from the last couple of years that have these big screens. You can do it, you absolutely can do it, but you're adjusting your hand every time you got to hit that top left-hand corner.
Well, and it's like they went halfway, because you can swipe it back to hide it again.
Right,
yeah, that's
exactly,
the other thing.
Exactly.
You can, and it's just as smooth as it is on the YouTube version, but you can't open it like that. I just don't get it. That bugs me particularly. That's probably my biggest Android design gripe.
Yeah, but
like if Gmail could do that, if you could swipe open your, you get your inbox and you could swipe open and have like labels or something under there. Holy crap!
You can't, yeah, and that's like Colin said, that's what they got on the iOS version. And it's nice.
Gosh.
Yeah. But I mean, we've seen Tasker Beta now has a new like holo-themed version. They're coming along. Tim's featured that sliding messaging app a lot, and it's designed really well with some kind of innovation.
I talk about that app so much.
It's a good app though, and I think that's we're starting to see more developers really push more gestural design, and it's killer doing that kind of doing gestures and that kind of thing versus having to tap all over the place on different buttons. He's
a young pup too. He's a young kid.
Yeah, and that can make a world of difference. When especially in comparison like Falcon versus Carbon, you want to switch over to lists on Carbon, you've got to hit a button before and then guess which icon it is. That's not a good way. That's not intuitive. That's not helpful for people. It's not getting them to the stuff that they want to access quickly, and it's really honestly it's not enjoyable. When I'm looking at Falcon and I'm swiping to access different parts of content, that's fun to use versus having to peck all over the screen and try and figure out where I need to go for stuff.
Yeah. So when are you coming up with this post, Ron, so we can read your whole theory on design?
Soon. Yeah. I've got 900 words into it. So
well, see, it even comes down to the fact that Google and just their swiping gesture in general. And I know Josh from The Verge pointed this out when the Nexus 7 came out, that swiping on the Nexus 7 isn't like swiping on any other Android whatsoever. You have to be past this magical line in the middle of the device if you want to go to the next screen, or the stupid window shade notification that if you don't pull it down a certain way it's just going to snap back up and disappear. Like, there's so many little things in their design that they're going in the right way, but they just need to sit down and just put all of it together, and make it feel like one operating system, not different everywhere you use it.
Yeah, and the other part of that too, and I haven't seen anybody really talk about this, but so swiping, it's supposed to be, you're swiping between content. That's what the Android design guidelines talk about. But when I'm in my notification, I pull down notification shade. What does swiping do? Does that move me between content? No, that gets rid of something. When I'm in Gmail, I can swipe between messages. But then I also, if I'm looking at my inbox, I swipe to archive or swipe. It's like, so the gestures are not consistent, and that's I mean, it's problematic, So when you're telling somebody, oh yeah, you can use swiping gesture, that'll get rid of stuff. But also sometimes it's going to switch between content. That's not consistent behavior, and that's not good for users. Obviously, you can pick it up and you can learn it, but consistency should be something that they're pushing after.
And hopefully they are starting to do that. Or if, I know we keep talking about what's coming up in I/O, but hopefully we get more sort of design talk or something. Because, but we talked about too. Google needs to lead the charge on that, and they're not. So hopefully they start doing that. We should probably wrap up pretty soon here. It's like 7:15. Tim, do you really want to talk about Ringo Starr?
No. No, I was just listening to some old. I grew up listening to the Beatles and stuff, and I was listening to some old Ringo songs, and God, these are terrible.
Oh man.
They should have just left those hanging on the fridge and not recorded them. But that's all right. Ringo Starr, he's cool, but not a very good songwriter.
I don't even think Ringo Starr is that cool, but he's also not a good songwriter. An argument for another day, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's talk last about Samsung's Super Bowl ad. Anybody have any thoughts on it? It was 2 minutes long. Well, they released a teaser for it.
A 1 minute teaser, 2 minute ad, 4 minute extended version, and now I really don't care. I'm so over it.
I know. Was it good? Was it terrible? I thought the extended version was a lot funnier than the 2 minute version.
I thought the teaser was funnier than the 2 minute version.
Oh, see, I didn't think the teaser was funny.
Because the 2 minute version was too much of a play on their whole 40-year-old virgin how I know you're gay type of joke, and I was like, this is so Paul Rudd and just not funny anymore. I don't know. It's old.
It was Paul Rudd.
It was okay.
Yeah.
The part that I liked...
Paul Rudd playing Paul Rudd. That's exactly what I want to see in a commercial.
Mm-hmm. And in all of his movies.
Yes.
Yeah. I actually liked when LeBron showed up. That was funny. That was the one part of the commercial that I did like, because it was short and he was like, yeah, maybe I'll do a cameo on a tablet or something, and then he was just gone. That was the only part of it that I liked.
I like whoever the guy is that's normally Saul Goodman. I don't know what his actual actor name is. I thought he was good in it, but I mean I don't know exactly how much they spent on it, but it was I saw numbers flying around that it was 15 million or something for this spot.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's insane. What I don't get is they showed a Note 2 and then they showed the Note 10.1, and I'm sure there was a Galaxy S3 in there somewhere. But never did they really say at the end. They just said this is the Galaxy family, but they didn't actually drop product names all that often. I didn't think it was just sort of a weird commercial. They weren't really selling anything, but hey, they were just like, hey, we're Samsung. We have this Galaxy family. Maybe that's what they're doing now. They're just trying to tell people that Galaxy is what you should care about, and just remember the name Galaxy. And they spent $15 million doing
the next big thing.
Well, we're finally getting to the point where if you see an Android phone and somebody doesn't know about Android, they don't call it a Droid anymore. We're slowly getting to that point, and I think Samsung is wanting the next name to be Samsung. For people that don't know about Android, oh, do you have a Samsung? Or, and commercials like that, I think, are pushing them in that direction.
The only part was funny when Paul told Seth that he makes people physically uncomfortable, and I was like, he kind of does make me physically uncomfortable. But I think he's a funny guy. But I mean, it's just I wish commercials would push the phones, the features, all that stuff more often. I don't know. It sucks to see failing companies push their features. You got HP and BlackBerry. When they would ever do commercials, they would actually push features of the phone, and no one gave two craps. And you got Samsung and Apple. They don't really push features, but everyone just buys the heck out of them. I don't know what's up. Yeah. Brand recognition, man.
Well, I think, Eric, what you said is probably exactly what they were doing. How everyone used to call Android phones Droid phones. Now people they don't refer their Galaxy S3 as the Galaxy S3. They refer to it as the Galaxy phone. They say, I've got the Galaxy. Oh, do you have the Galaxy? That's what they say. Yeah. They don't even say Note. Well, some people say Note 2 just to differentiate. But I think they're really going to push that sort of...
Oh, sorry. Oh, my bad. Sorry, guys.
But I think that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to make that a household term. They want Galaxy to be...
Yeah.
Probably a smart move.
Yeah, and there have been several articles lately. Gruber did one, I think it was earlier today or yesterday. Just circumstantial evidence, but it looks like the Galaxy name is kind of starting to overtake Android in terms of like how things are being advertised.
Yep.
So I don't know if you guys remember, Sprint did a few ads for the, I think it was the I forget which Evo it was, but they had a little Android guy flying around and stuff like that.
Dude.
Pushing that Android name, getting that name out there, and obviously I think that's part of them trying to just tag on with Droid, just add a couple more letters on top of there, and you've got something that we've got too. But I think that's an interesting thing, and I think it's an interesting problem for Google, because if your most successful OEM is pushing a name that has nothing to do with what you're pushing, that could be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, and I've seen article after article, it seems like, in the last month about people saying, Samsung's too big for Android now, or they're becoming bigger than Android. And, the Galaxy name is what they're pushing, not that we're an Android phone. We're the Galaxy. We're not Android. We're just the best phone you can buy. And that could be sort of scary to Google. I can't imagine Samsung's just going to leave Android. But
no. Well,
no, that would be the worst move ever.
It probably would. So, I mean, if they were to do that, it's going to be way, way, way down the road. But they have sort of taken over the name. It's a Galaxy. It's not an Android. So
I've always loved Android commercials that actually feature the bug droid, like flying around, like those Sprint ones. And there was some like weird regional carrier commercial where the bug droid was like dressed up in a suit. One commercial, I can't remember what it was, but that was a good commercial too. I've always had a thing for a little Android flying around the screen.
Yeah, flying androids. I don't remember that many commercials that have them other than the Sprint one.
I know you don't see them ever, but I think
the Sprint ones were good.
They were too busy strapping phones to our hearts as DNA and stupid shit like that.
The stupid battle royale. What was that where she was fighting the robots? Was that the Bionic?
That was Bionic.
That's Bionic, yeah.
Those were bad.
Those were some of the worst ads ever.
Oh my gosh.
All right, well let's wrap up, guys. It's 7:20. Unless you guys have anything else you want to shout out, throw out there, anything? Nothing.
Nothing comes to mind.
Nothing comes to mind. So, all right, we'll just wrap up then. Droid Live Show, episode 14. Sorry we went a little longer. Sorry I'm nasally and dropped Bane on your asses. But we're out of here. Droid Live Show. Peace, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.